Hello everyone, welcome to yet another dedicated essay session, and for today we have got this topic for you, and the topic for today is the country's need for a better disaster management system. Okay, this is a topic for today, and from today onwards we are going to slightly change the approach. Rather than talking about the entire essay, I will be dealing with the most important highlights or the most important dimensions that you need to touch upon. Okay, while writing an essay on this topic, you need to cover certain dimensions. Okay, you need to cover certain areas, certain dimensions, and I'll be talking about those dimensions today. Which are those dimensions? The most important dimensions. Okay, so let's get started. And this is a topic, which is directly related to disaster management, and as we all know, disaster management is a part of the syllabus. Okay, it's a part of the syllabus. So we need to prepare this topic, so that makes this topic very, very important. Okay, so see. So basically, as we all know, the meaning of a disaster. Okay, I hope everyone knows the meaning of a disaster. Disaster, in simple words, it's something like a calamity. It is something that we are not, that we were not ready for, but we cannot anymore. Okay, disaster is something which cannot catch us off guard. Okay, it cannot catch us unprepared anymore, because if it catches us unprepared, then it causes a lot of devastation. So managing a particular disaster, see, disaster management does not mean stopping that disaster from happening. Okay, we cannot prevent, we cannot prevent natural calamities from happening. So that is simply impossible. Okay, that is trying to what? That is trying to compete with the God, which we cannot. So disaster management is simply, it means reducing, it means reducing the damage, reducing the damage being caused or reducing the damage being done by a particular disaster. How do we do that? Okay, so in order to reduce the damage being caused by a particular disaster, we have to prepare ourselves from before. Okay, we cannot wait till the time the disaster happens. Okay, we cannot till the time the disaster happens. We have to prepare ourselves from much before, and disaster management is all about that. Okay, how to get ourselves ready. Okay, so that if tomorrow a disaster hits us, what are we going to do in order to mitigate the effects of the disaster? And see, this thing becomes even more important with respect to Assam and Northeast. Okay, because we all know that we live in an earthquake prone area. Okay, every now and then, out of all the cities, every now and then, the capital of Assam itself, that is Guwahati itself, experiences a lot of shocks and aftershocks. Okay, it only recently, just a couple of days before, they were back to back 2 mild jolts. So although those were mild jolts, but you never know. Okay, you never know, and as we already know, Assam lies in such a geographical position which is prone to earthquakes, which is vulnerable to earthquakes. So it becomes all the more important for us to give enough attention to disaster management. Okay, so let's get started. So we can start the essay with something like the scene in India, and more specifically we can also talk about the scene in Assam, depending on what the essay topic is. So the scene in India, see, disasters have a devastating impact on the economy, causing loss of life, property and livelihoods. Okay, we all know that. Okay, we all know that disaster, it causes a lot of, it destroys the economy. It has adverse impact. Okay, it has an adverse impact on economy. It has an adverse impact on economy. It has an adverse impact on the livelihoods of people. It also, every now and then, whenever a disaster happens, most of them, they take a toll on the lives of the people. Okay, they become the reason for a lot of deaths. Okay, then see the significance of disaster management. Okay, the significance of disaster management. Disaster management encompasses both post-disaster activities and pre-disaster activities, covering both post-disaster and pre-disaster activities. See, this is what the definition, of disaster management is. Disaster management covers all those activities which we do before a particular disaster hits us, in anticipation of a disaster. And how do we anticipate a disaster? We have to learn to anticipate it. Okay, just a short while ago, I said we know that we live in a vulnerable, Assam falls, Assam is a part of such a zone. Assam is situated in such a place which is prone to earthquakes. So we can well anticipate, okay, we can well anticipate this, okay. So we can well anticipate that, so we have to be ready from before, okay, we have to be ready from before. So we have to be ready from before, and we need to take a lot of precautions. So all the activities, okay, be it teaching certain people how to deal with a disaster if it happens, okay, be it that thing, or making them undergo a drill, okay, creating a simulated environment and teaching them certain things which they need to do in case a disaster hits that particular area. All those activities will come under what? All those activities will come under pre-disaster activities, which is a part of disaster management. And God forbid, if the disaster hits us, all those activities which are being done to mitigate the effects of the disaster after that disaster happens, okay, those activities will be a part of what? Post-disaster activities. Okay, and both pre-disaster activities and post-disaster activities, both these kinds of activities will be a part of disaster management. Okay, disaster management is not just about pre-disaster activities or just about post-disaster activities. Okay, it is about both the kinds of activities, that is pre-disaster activities as well as post-disaster activities. Okay, then see, disaster management and development activities. The key to disaster management is to plan projects to prevent environmental degradation and provide emergency assistance, long-term maintenance and livelihood for displaced persons. Okay, so this is another very important area of how to manage a disaster. Okay, it is very, very crucial. It is very, very crucial to plan projects to prevent environmental degradation. Now see, certain natural disasters happen due to our mistakes. Certain natural disasters happen due to our mistakes. So see, it is a fact that we cannot prevent natural calamities from happening. But at the same time, if we know, because certain evidences support the fact that certain disasters happen due to some of our mistakes or some of the mistakes being committed by human beings. Now, if we know that, if we are able to establish a connection between our mistakes and the occurrence of those disasters, if we know that, then we can take certain measures. Okay, we can anticipate that and we can take certain measures. So as you can see here, we can plan projects to prevent environmental degradation, because environmental degradation, it can be considered to be one of the forerunners, or it can be considered to be one of the harbingers of an upcoming disaster. Okay, so and provide emergency assistance. We all know that when a disaster hits us, we all need to provide what? Because there are a lot of people who need emergency. Who need help, who need assistance. Okay, who need help, who need assistance. So all these things will come under what? All these things will come under emergency assistance. Because a state of emergency, okay, disaster, calamity, all these things, they develop what? They end up developing a state of emergency. Okay, so a long-term maintenance and disaster management also includes what? It also includes providing or taking enough measures to secure the lives, okay, to secure the lives of the people who have been displaced by these disasters. Okay, now a couple of years back, we had a fiasco at Baghjan. Okay, we had a fiasco at the Baghjan oil field. Okay, we had a fiasco at the Baghjan oil field in the Upper Assam area, and we all know the impacts of it. We all know the devastating effects of it, and we also know that a lot of people were displaced. Okay, a lot of people had to move out of their original homes. Okay, as the fire was what? As the volume of fire was increasing, a lot of people were asked, a lot of people were forced to leave their homes. So that is also an example of what? Displacement of people. Okay, so what will happen to those people? So the government has to take responsibility in order to secure, those people who have been displaced by disasters. So that will also be a part of disaster management. Then capacity building or working on capacity. Okay, capacity is the means and resources that prepare regions to withstand prevent, mitigate and recover from disasters. We have to build capacity. If we are trying to mitigate the effects of a disaster in a particular area, we have to build the capacity. We have to build resources in that particular area. What is the meaning of capacity building? We have to teach the people living in that area. We have to select certain individuals. We have to teach them as to how will you prepare the other individuals living in that particular area to mitigate or to reduce the devastating effects of a disaster. All these activities will come under what? All these activities will come under capacity building, which is another very, very crucial part of disaster management. Okay, so all these highlights, okay, all these dimensions can be included in this particular essay, and I sincerely hope that if you include these dimensions, which are the most important parts of disaster management, they will help you fetch good marks in the upcoming mains examination. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for more such videos on dedicated essay sessions.